Joe Mullings from 160 Studios, and today I've got a guest, well, not really a guest in-house, a new member of the family. Emily Phair is joining us, and Emily is our new Vice President of Sales at the network. So, Ems, welcome.
Thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Bit of a journey to get here, but happy to be here nonetheless.
All the way from the north, eh?
All the way from the north, where there still is snow on the ground.
And a lot more strict than the other side of North America.
I would say so, yeah, absolutely. Journey started yesterday. I could have gone to Europe, but instead I chose beautiful Delray. And 3 plane rides, a COVID test, and a couple of hotel stops, and here I am. Feeling fresh.
All the better for it.
Yeah, exactly.
You and I started chatting quite a few months ago about this opportunity, this role, and we were very, very specific about the skills we wanted to bring in on this role, leading commercial on the sales side, the marketing side, the messaging side, and you brought a very, very unique background into this. And so would you share with the MR family your background?
Absolutely, yeah, I would love to. I like to say I have just over 15 years of experience in the industry. Honestly, I've pretty much touched every facet of it. I started out in a sales function in a contingent firm, fell in love with the executive retained search side, so got into that part of the business for a while. Because of circumstance, moved across the country and found myself in an area of the country that didn't have anything other than a couple of major head offices and a bunch of beautiful mountains. And so hung up my retained search hat and thought, perfect, my kids are 3 and 1, I'm just gonna be a stay-at-home mom. And 3 weeks later, I said, no, I'm not going to do that. So was really, really lucky enough to kind of take my career in-house at that point and build out a talent strategy for a global organization from scratch. And so that was a ton of fun to be able to really, again, put those pieces together, take all the things that I had learned from the recruitment formal functions and really put my heart and soul into creating visions and building teams and transferring the knowledge back to not only the team, but the organization as well. Fast forward to pandemic, things shifted again. Became very aware of the MRI brand, caught my attention, and that brings us really to today, where I'm now with you and the rest of the team.
So you have done retained. Who did you work for on the retained side?
I worked for Korn Ferry.
Korn Ferry.
Yeah.
And then you had your own shingle, like you mentioned.
Yes.
And then you built out, how large was the team you built out?
Built the team up to about 16, and that was a group of recruiters, analytics, coordinators across the country. So not only did we have this growing team, but we also had a remote team. And so connectivity, communication, momentum, they were all really critical to the success of what we were doing internally.
And you got to see the inside operations of and they were a manufacturing company?
No.
Service?
Service, yeah, retail.
Retail.
Yeah.
So retail service, you brought the invasive headhunting style into a corporation, which is, I'm sure they knew how lucky they were at that point in time, because you don't get to do that very often.
Yeah, well, it was interesting because I really did build with key players within the team, bringing that executive search lens to the in-house side of the business and really helping our customers, which were then, the hiring managers, the store managers, really see the value of what we were doing and translating that then back into their own operations. Yeah.
And we've got a family of 300 plus offices around the world. As you went through the process with corporate, with MR, what were you keeping your eye on in the interview process? And what did you realize about the leadership team? And then what do you see as the big rocks that you're going to keep an eye on in your first 360 days?
So great questions. What first captured my attention and continues to is the growth story that we're embarking on and the opportunity to take something that is, the foundation is set. We have an incredible story and an incredible group around us both, in the field and here. And so taking all of those things and continuing to leverage and build on that, thinking about the future and how things have transitioned and continued to transform with us. The team itself, I am so impressed by the collaboration. It's a new team, and from what I understand, within the last 24 months, we have people that have joined, bringing fresh eyes and complementing the eyes that have already been here for quite a while. So to me, that's incredibly inspirational. That's what gets me out of bed is being able to collaborate collectively together and move a vision forward.
Mm. You've been in organizations that have gone through change before.
Yes.
Right? And so what are the key things that you've learned, lessons you've learned in organizations that are going through sort of transformation or evolution for that matter?
Mm-hmm. People just need to feel heard. At the end of the day, unless you have something fundamentally broken in your business, which the experiences I've come from and the ones that I'm in now with you, people just need to feel a sense of being heard, that their voice is not just another number. And so, when you think about that, it's all about communication. And when we think about communication in general, the world itself has had to pivot in the last 12 months with the pandemic. So many organizations that have never had to deal with communication now have had to and have, mostly adapted quickly. So, on top of the need to communicate, it's also thinking about people that have been locked in their own, screens for the last how many number of months, or they haven't had the water cooler banter that potentially they didn't think they would miss, but do miss. Validating their own thoughts with other people in the room or through, just general conversation. So anytime, and again, I saw it and felt it and lived it in my previous experiences, not just with my in-house team, but in other organizations I've been with. And it's all about communication and ensuring and validating that what they're feeling and seeing is a shared feeling, but here's how we're moving forward. And as long as we can all find that true North Star together, then that's a good thing.
Yeah. What is fascinating is the search business and the employment business, and actually the world, went from a state of fear, absolute well-intentioned fear and deserved, to now, I know our network has seen it in our first quarter numbers, the roof has been blown off in regards to demand. It's a candidate-driven market.
Yeah, totally.
And so managing and leading a market and the employment market from one of there's no jobs, now we're all watching on television, there's way too many job opportunities and not enough people.
Yep.
So your thoughts on the future of the world of work and where is the market going over the next 6-12 months?
So adaptability is key. I think the organizations that have been sitting and just waiting for the world to open up again without creating their next, whatever it is, 18 to 24 month plan will feel it. This has been the time and opportunity for organizations, and many have done it very well, to kind of go internally, check their house, potentially make some very difficult decisions and prepare for the future. So I think what I'm seeing and hearing in terms of the next 12 to 18 months in trends, it's ensuring that when we're looking at talent and when you're bringing talent into your organizations, that you're flexible in understanding what the needs are. Work-life balance is a term that's so overused, but incredibly important to think about hybrid workers, remote workers. They don't have to live in that box that we used to all think we had to live in. And it's an interesting scenario that opens up because our access to talent now has virtually become borderless. I mean, look, I'm in Canada. I wonder if 2 years ago this conversation would have even happened.
No, I can guarantee it wouldn't.
Right? Yeah, there you go. Check. And so that's it. And so the access to talent on a global playing field is mind-boggling, but it's also incredibly, it's a huge opportunity for us, I think, when we're considering hiring.
So given that the world of work is such a dynamic environment right now, and you are going to be you're going to lead the initiative of bringing the MR message to the world. So there are people out there right now that don't know that they're going to own an MR organization in the next 6 months. Have you thought through what your message is going to be to the market yet in regards to why this is interesting for a career or even potentially from an ownership perspective?
Yeah, I think one of the most, and I have to put my hat back on to when I was an independent consultant. What I missed so much, and really and truly why I was looking for that corporate opportunity, was to join a community of like-minded individuals, to inspire, and to provide the best services and solutions possible in terms of finding that talent. So when I think about our service delivery and our promise to potential new members coming in and the ones that are already existing, it's how can we offer an integrated suite of solutions that really speak to the community and help them elevate what they're already doing in excellence. So whether it be assisting with onboarding, or assisting with training their teams, or assisting them on how to keep their teams engaged in situations like a pandemic. God forbid that doesn't happen again. Mm-hmm. So those are some of the things that I'm thinking about too, in terms of how do we engage and bring in those individuals into the network. Mm.
You and I had a little bit of an off the reservation conversation about a certain persona, and I think this is an interesting persona to talk about as we think about franchise owners, future franchise owners. Mm. I think we got hit by the same lightning bolt in the same meeting on the same day about the female ownership that is either walking out of a career because have already done what they had to do, and either their household called them, elderly parents called them, because women are much better set up from a biological perspective to care than men are, okay? or the kids are home, and the mom or the caregiver has gotten those kids over that 14, 15, 16-year-old age group, and now is saying, wait a minute, I've got all this smarts, I've got all this energy, I've got all these contacts, what do I want to do? And I want to control my future. And you and I, both our eyes lit up when we both threw that on the counter. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. There's two stages, honestly, and I'm a mom, I'm a working mom, and the first stage of that experience that I went through was when I had toddlers and we relocated and there weren't any resources, and I thought, okay, well, I can't possibly go to a 9-to-5 job. So that's really when I started my consulting business, and I could do it all and I could manage it all. And there's a certain extra, call it a superpower mom energy. I'm going to use it. I'm going to say it. That happens, and you'll burn the candle at both ends. You'll be able to juggle it all and manage it all. And that to me was a saving grace that I found that. And if I had known about the MRI model then, I would have been the first to put my hand up, because it would have given me all the other pieces to connect in and to plug into that system. Same thing for when. And I'm staring down the pipe there, because as my kids turn into teenagers, there is that next phase of life where I have all this energy and I have all this opportunity still to do things and to build things. And I think this is a great setup and a great opportunity for women in business who are either living the same kind of experience as I did, or perhaps someone who's in a big firm who doesn't want the partnership piece, who doesn't want the stress. And to call it their own. So absolutely, there's tons of experience and opportunity there.
Yeah, and certainly, I've seen it that there's nothing more than that mom super energy.
Yeah.
Like on the back end of the curve.
Totally.
It's different too. Like men on the back end of the curve are trying to figure out how can they get out and go play golf or do something else. Where women on the back end of that curve through my 30-year career, I'm like, wait a minute, where did you get this last mile kick from?
Yeah.
Right? And they always remind me, it's always been there, but it's been suppressed because I've had to take care of them and them and them and take a second seat. And I think this is a really interesting time with the changing of the world of work, with entrepreneurship at a high level right now in the world.
High.
Right? And a plug and play system like MRI has. And there's quite a few female owners who are just crushing it, and per capita blow away the male ownership.
Yeah, and the walls are down too, right? Because again, we can, and I'm not saying men can't manage these things too, let's be clear.
Well, not as well, but let's call it.
But we,
listen, if we looked at the distribution curve and we took the middle of the distribution curve, it'd be 60-40, 50-50. But if you go out at the super performance, taking care of the household,
Yeah.
at the end of the extreme, it's all females.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The overperformers.
Yeah, all that stuff is happening in the background, right? But we can do it.
Yes.
Again, trending in the new world of work. We have way more access to do it and to be on that same playing field.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So we are in day, let's see, almost day 10 or 11. What are your goals when you and I sit down here in a year from now? If you had to state your top 3 deliverables for the next year, what do you think they'd be?
Good question. Navigating the organization, building those relationships, 100% critical. That's always what I love to do first, is just talk to as many people as I can and create that trust in short order, I suspect, but really helping the network understand, what I'm doing here and what we're doing here collectively. Setting the stage, setting the 3-year roadmap, the vision, specifically within our sales strategy, and where are we targeting, what are we doing, who are we attracting, and why, and then showing the value back to the organization and back to the network. If I can do those 3 things collectively with the rest of you, and building what we already have is with a foundational sales team and building that, we're winning.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I'm so excited. We'll
Me
be
too.
back here, before a year, but we'll get back
Yeah.
and check on the progress there.
Absolutely.
And welcome to the team.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
It's great to have you. I'm Joe Mullings from 160 Studios. Be well.